I'll be going through the answers quickly, so make sure your course book is open and in front of you, and please stop and rewind the video as you need to. So, got your book open in front of you? Are your answers in capitals? Want to know why the answers are the answers? Then let's go. For question number 1, I hope you read through the whole text, or at least this sentence, before you tried to answer the question, because if you did that, you can see that there's a contrast in ideas. After the gap, it talks about man-made objects like buildings and and then before that, we've got objects like hedges. Well, a hedge isn't a man-made object, it's a natural object. In other words, it comes from the earth. So that's why the answer is B. For question number 2, once again, we have to read past the gap to work out, or at least get an idea of what the answer will be, because if we do that, we can see 3 things are mentioned: athletics, dance, and acrobatics. And given the context of this sentence, we need to find out how these 3 things can come together to form parkour. Well, if we have a look at the answers, which one of our answers means the same as come together or mix together? Well, of course, the answer is C, combines. For question number 3, the key thing here is the language structure which follows the gap, because it is an infinitive, to run. If we have a look at the answers, A, B and C all need gerunds. They cannot work with infinitives. The only one that does work with an infinitive is D, which is why it is our answer. For question number 4, as I'm sure you've read through the text, you will know that we are now talking about something becoming successful. Something that started off small, but now this paragraph is talking about it becoming much bigger. So we need the correct answer, the correct phrasal verb, which means the same as become successful. Out of the options that we've got, the only one that does mean that is B, took off. For question number 5, the key word here is the preposition which follows the gap. If we concentrate on that preposition, we can cross out B and C straight away. Either they need different language structures or different prepositions, which means that we've got to consider A and D. Now, D talks about resulting in, but the context of the article talks about where something is coming from, which means the answer must be A, originated. For question number 6, what we need here is vocabulary to describe in the beginning or at the beginning of this particular sport. If we have a look at the answers and we bear in mind the language pattern, it says in its. So in its beforehand days? No. In its previous days? No. In its early days? It works. In its preceding days? No. The answer here is C, early. For question number 7, what we're talking about here is time. Not at the beginning, but after a certain period of time. So our answer has to reflect time. And if we have a look at the answers, one of those answers clearly refers to time and refers to the time which is after a certain period of time. And of course, that answer is B, later. For question number 8, if we understand the context correctly, what the basic message is apart from that, or except for that, or all they really need, basically the real message. So we need a piece of vocabulary, one of the answers, to reflect that message. And if we have a look at the answers, we can see that alternatively, instead, and however do not do that job, but otherwise does, which is why the answer is D.